Hello, welcome to Record Wrestling Network. It is Thursday night, and we are here for another episode of Aftermath of Dynamite. It is myself, ALW, and the Ruby Queen of Workhorse Wrestling Network, Miss Anika. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. It's almost the end of the week, so that's good. I know you usually
That
work the
part.
weekend, so it probably doesn't work the same for you, but it's
I
almost tomorrow's Friday for me at least. So uh,
trying to think about it
that's
like
always
that. Like, hey, the weekends are weekends, no matter what.
weekends, no matter what. So, as usual, on Thursdays, we're here to talk about the week that was AEW. We'll start with the Rampage from last Friday, December 8th, and then we'll do Collision and last night's Dynamite. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on this video. It helps a lot. Hit the bell to be notified. Stop scratching my shit, cat. Sorry, my cat doesn't like scratching stuff. It's not supposed to be scratching. So, yeah. All right, so let's see. Last week's Rampage on Friday. It was in Canada, in Montreal. We had Tony Schiavone and Ian Riccaboni and Matt Menard on commentary. I love Daddy Magic on commentary. He always makes me laugh. So
Most
the first
definitely.
the first match of the show was an international championship match between Orange Cassidy and Angelico. Don't call him Angelico. I guess I was calling him Angelico, and he's corrected everybody. It is Angelico. So, Angelico is the king of the submission. That's how they classify him. He's fun to watch. I like him. I'm not an Orange Cassidy fan, but as you know, Orange Cassidy is going to win. He got the win here with the help of his very nice but very evil friend, Danhausen. What'd you think of this?
Sorry about that. It was it was good. It was fine. Um, Definitely am glad to see those guys back. They're the in Helic. I you know what? I don't give a crap. In Helico, you know your name. You know your name is difficult to say. Don't even do that. But but no, like I haven't seen them in a minute, right? And so I know they're in ROH. So I'm very glad to see them, even if it's on Rampage. Um, I want Orange Cassidy to have a storyline now. So it's like you beating Moxley should have elevated you somewhat, and I'm waiting for the elevation still. But
I
it
don't.
was nice.
Now this is his second run with the title. I don't feel like he had much storyline the first time either. He had a lot of wins and a lot of matches, but it wasn't like there was any real solid Orange Cassidy International Championship storylines. And now we're back to it again, where it's just kind of he defends it every week and wins every week, but there's no like real direction or story. It doesn't feel like. I mean,
So the story was basically like him actually caring, and it's Orange Cassidy, right? He doesn't care.
yeah,
So that was
right.
it. And then he had a battle caring, but your body is not yeah, more so failing you because you're getting jacked up because you're doing it every freaking week. So
Yeah.
don't really want that again, right? You want something new. So I guess it's gonna take a minute for them to find it, but yeah, I need something different.
Yeah. Let's see. Then we had Abaddon, who's back, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
She got the win over Trish Adora.
Whoa.
I like both these women, so I'd have, again, I don't necessarily want either one to lose, but it was a solid match, and I'm happy to see Abaddon back. She looks a little bit different. We talked about this last time,
Yeah.
and yeah, I don't, it wasn't great, but it was okay. Honestly, I think it was here. It's unfortunate for Trish Adora because I think this match was really there just to facilitate the story,
Yeah.
which the lights went out and then they came back on, and Julia Hart was in the ring. He
Yeah.
handed Abaddon her title, and then the lights went out again, and she was gone. The whole thing was very weird. So I'm not totally sure. Are they trying to recruit Abaddon to House of Black? Is that what's going on, or is there actually a challenge? Like, what's going on here?
So I actually saw it as a cross the line Caroline. So she put it on the floor and she was like, if you want to step to me, you can step to me. That's how I read
Okay.
it. But like
Okay.
definitely 100% agree with you. Love Trizadora, love her look. And hopefully we'll see more of her. But just she was definitely here to promote Abaddon before we get that her versus Julia Hart.
Yeah. Which should be a fun match. I'm here for her versus Julia Hart. Um, you know.
Definitely.
So let's see. Then we had the Don Callis family, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Takesha beating
Powerhouse.
up on Christopher Daniels and Matt Seidel. I mean,
Yeah.
Matt Seidel and Christopher Daniels are both better than this, so it's a little disappointing. At the same time, I know they're older and that definitely the back ends of their career. Christopher Daniels a lot more than Matt Seidel, but even both of them. So I get it. At the same time, I'm disappointed to see them kind of almost as jobbers to a certain extent. That's a little disappointing. But
Yeah.
in theory, Hobbs and Takeshita, both in their 20s, both young and big beat. I mean, they should be beating these guys, I guess. I mean, I don't, I mean, if you think about it that way, right? So the
Hmm.
two older guys, right? So
Yeah.
it is what it is. I wasn't super impressed with this match, but it was okay.
Like it definitely wasn't the match on Collision that Matt Sydal and Christopher Daniels had, and that is how the progression of wrestling should happen, right? Where the younger person should get pushed, but you gotta ask me on the right day, because I do love we love the veterans for a reason, right? So it
Sure.
doesn't hurt from the win, not here, but give them a win on television at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you want them, I mean, they are veterans that are both, I mean, Christopher Daniels is definitely, an all-time great, a legend. Matt Sydal, it's debatable, but
Hmm.
he's whatever. I mean, he's definitely, a veteran that everybody knows, and they deserve at least a couple wins, probably over some other guys before you start just jobbing them out to other guys, right? So, or
Exactly.
at least mix in a win here and there to make them more legitimate. Still, to keep it up is at least legitimate, so they don't just look like jobbers every time. So yeah.
Exactly.
Let's see. Then we had the main event of the night, which was a Continental Classic Blue League match between Daniel Garcia, who had 0 points entering the match, and Brian Danielson, who had 3 points entering this match.
I
Uh,
still don't get
very.
how we got this on Rampage. I still don't get that.
For what it's worth, because this is so much fun, the tournament, I do like that they've spread it out across all three
Definitely.
shows.
Like, yeah,
Rampage needs help. And so to put a solid match like this on Rampage definitely helps. Even though it's pre-recorded and people already know on Wednesday what the results were, you still, if you're a wrestling fan, you still tune in to see because both guys are good and it's fun to watch the match even if you know the results, right? So especially if
definitely.
it's Brian
Yes.
Danielson. So I do
That
think it
part.
helps Rampage and I enjoy because like I said last week, I do think this is the best thing AEW's done as a company yet. I like that it's all over everything. I mean, I like that I get a little bit
Hmm.
of on every show. So,
Like, no,
yeah,
definitely agree. Yeah, definitely
yeah,
agree about spreading it around. I would assume, but it's Rampage, right? So we think you're getting Brody Lee versus Claudio on Rampage, not Danielson versus Garcia. Uh,
yeah,
insane that this is the second time they face each other. The whole time Danielson has been and Garcia has been in AEW. Good match. Of course Danielson's gonna win. So I don't know what we're doing with Garcia just yet. I get the whole underdog finding yourself thing, but at one point in time it's like, all right, when's the pep talk coming? When's the pep talk like, hey, snap out of it. Get
yeah,
a win.
yeah. They've been milking the Daniel Garcia stuff a little bit, and obviously Daniel or Brian Danielson got the win here as he probably should.
Yeah,
But I it was a solid match. I mean, this classic tournament has had solid matches after solid matches. This is another one. These two have good chemistry. They work well
oh
together.
definitely.
The match was a lot of fun. And again, I'm glad that they put that on Rampage. So Yeah, I got no
Definitely.
complaints. I got nothing to say about it other than it was fun. So I thought it was a
Yeah.
very solid Rampage, one of the better ones, honestly. Rampage can
Hmm.
leave a little to be desired sometimes, but this one I thought was very solid.
Oh no, Danielson versus Garcia definitely bumped it 10 times within what it usually will be on a Friday night.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So that brings us to Collision on the next night, Saturday
Mhm.
the 9th. And that show kicked off with a blue league matchup. This is again we're in Canada. It is Claudio versus Eddie, and we all know about these two have no love lost for each other. It's probably Eddie's. I mean, I think. I mean, we talk about kayfabe in real life and what to shoot and what to work. And I think this is fucking real life. I think Eddie does not like Claudio. And I don't. I mean, I don't know that there's a stain goes both ways quite so much, but I do think that Eddie really thinks of Claudio as the kind of guy that looks down on him because he's not in shape and maybe doesn't take it as serious as everybody else, or doesn't work
Yeah.
18 hours a day at the gym, or doesn't like to eat a taco or smoke a little weed or whatever the case may be. Whereas I don't know that Claudio sees it the same way. I don't know, but maybe he does. But yeah, these two are always, magic in the ring because you feel that intensity, right? And you feel that
Right.
hatred, like you can feel it, right? They don't like each other. So, and this
I,
match was exactly what you expect: hard hitting. Go ahead.
oh no, no. I'll say this. I think the
Go ahead.
respect for them has grown. It's definitely not as bad as it was when they first were in ROH together. So I'm not real. I'm not. I don't even want to. If they did make up, I don't want to know. I don't want to like keep Eddie
Right.
keep the kayfabe alive and keep that to yourselves. And then side note, I just love like the opening promos. Eddie, all right, come on, this collision Saturday, and Claudia, I'm gonna play the music. Like really, like of course that's how this match starts.
Yeah. No, I mean I thought it was really good. I mean these two have really good chemistry. And like I said, you can genuinely feel the dislike even though they work well together in the ring. You know all the storylines, so it's always fun to see these two. So solid opening match. Um, I was happy that Eddie got the win.
Yeah.
I was starting to get a little concerned that maybe he'd end up with a donut. I mean, I just was a little concerned. I don't and his two titles on the line. I was like, he's got to at least get some points. Like, so at least he got points here. We'll see what they end up doing when the tournament's over and where he sits. But yeah, I mean, it was another solid Continental Classic, tournament match. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Oh no,
Let's see.
if Eddie got a donut, then I have questions and we need to have a discussion.
No doubt. Wheeler Yuta's back and he challenged Hook to a FTW rules match and hooking stuff. This was fucking terrible. No disrespect to either of these guys, but this was bad. Like Wheeler Yuta's not great on the mic, but at least he's better when he's with somebody that's good. And Hook doesn't talk. Like the dude said two words, and neither of them
Right.
were great. Like he was like, "What's up?" and then bet, and that was it. And like, come on, dude, you gotta
Did
give us more than that. You just have to. You gotta. He's got to talk more. I don't know what you have to do to get him to talk. He's got to talk more. He's never going to get over if he doesn't talk more. He's not. You know what I mean? If the
did,
wrestling, okay, let me rephrase this. Let me rephrase this. And I understand that there's a big difference, and whatever. But if he was the style of wrestler that say a Will Ospreay or a Kenny Omega was, or where it's high octane, where it's lots of moves, where he's all over the place, let's say like even a Darby Allin or a Nick Wayne, but he's not. You know what I mean? He's slow. He's
yeah.
methodical. He's like Brock Lesnar, but half the size or a third of the size. That's how he wrestles. He wrestles like that, like he's a big super guy that can only do suplexes, right? Like, so he either needs to become better in the ring or talk on the mic. And right now he's not talking on the mic. It's not coming off well. So I was a little disappointed in this segment.
I'll say this. I'm not sure how many promos are scripted, but you have to know who needs even bullet points in a script and who doesn't. And and like you said, if Hook's not going to talk or he's not going to be that's not going to be on his strong suits, then you have to tell him what to say. At least tell him what to say, and then he can work, and then he can rehearse it, and so it'll come off way better than just top of my head. All right, let's go. No, this is still entertainment. This still needs to be
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to let somebody just go without a script, then they've got to be able to go without a script, right? I mean, he's
Yeah,
clearly proven that just, he needs something. He needs someone to tell him what to say. So, yeah.
yeah.
Let's see. That led into Willow versus Mercedes. Willow got the win. Diamante's Mercedes corner. I like this. There's this little feud going on, I guess, with Willow and both these guys. I mean, and I mean,
Yeah,
I'm here for it. I like it. I mean, it feels like they're
right,
getting a little bit of a storyline. It's not super in depth, but for Tony, it's something. It's a
right.
woman's storyline a little bit. So, yeah. And I like Mercedes and Diamante together. I like the little faction tag team, whatever you want to call it, click, whatever you want to call it. I like the two of them together, the duo.
They're friends, but
Um,
yeah,
they
yeah, no,
yeah,
yeah, most
they feel like they fit well
definitely
together.
so well, so well. And Mercedes Martinez hits hard. Will can hit hard, so this was great for both of them. Um, they're both. This is very very this is very very an ROH storyline, but I'm very glad it's on Collision. Uh, I will say, like, the ROH card, don't know, final battle is coming up tomorrow, and we will be covering a couple of those matches. I don't know. They need
Uh,
some, like, as a person who doesn't, don't need a jam packed card. This will be a very nice feud to put on the card. 'Cause I think that they need like one or two more bodies on it.
yeah, no, it should be fun. I think it's a good match. I think it'll be solid. After the match, Diamante attacked, continuing the thing. They attacked Willow with weapons, but Chris Statlander made the save. So clearly, Chris and Willow are Willow's still a face, and still, she's with Chris, who's a face, and these guys are definitely heels. So, let's see. Then we had Renee was backstage with Matt Menard and Angela Parker. Hager came. There's Danhausen. What did he say? Menard and Parker have dreamed of wrestling here, and tonight they will. They will. Both men speak French, and Ruby is here. So Sarai. Oh yeah. Okay. So then we had Sriracha and Anna Jay, Ruby and Parker. Canoodle. They're flirting with each other still.
Yes,
Yeah. I mean,
it's still
it is what
adorable.
it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It is. I guess it's a way to keep the JAS that's not the JAS still
Mm,
kind of at least on TV somehow.
yeah.
Um, if that, because I mean, 2.0 wrestles sometimes. I can't remember the last time Jake Hager actually wrestled. It's been a while. So, um,
It was
I don't,
definitely
yeah.
they did like it was. I think the last time I saw him was Jake Hager. Not Jake Hager. When Danhausen returned, and he had the purple hat, and so that was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
like you said, very cute segment. If I was writing this, the next step of the storyline is let Anna Jay and Ruby actually become friends and out Sriracha.
Yeah. No, I mean, that would
Because,
work.
like, right
That would
out of the
definitely
right
work.
now, she's just belittling her. So it's like Anna Jay, like, okay,
Yeah.
I know I don't like you, but come on now, chick, you ain't that bad.
Right. Yeah. Yep. That led to Wardlow versus Willie Mack. Unfortunately, Willie Mack got fed to Wardlow. I want more for Willie Mack. He did get a
Yeah,
little bit of offense in, even though it was really short. It's good to
yeah,
see Willie on TV, and at the same time, okay, like I said, he got fed to Wardlow. So
right.
I know what Wardlow's doing. Wardlow wants MJF. The question is when and how and if. Where is he in line, and how much longer are we going to have to just watch him? Have squash matches and talk about MJF. Before something actually happens.
right? And we thought we were getting, kind of away from squad matches with what's his name, not top tag. Oh, the AR Fox match. He had a little bit more offense, and we thought this would get a little more offense as well. But I guess we're still in the squash
Right.
phase, and so like, yeah, it's time to progress. Now we need an actual 10-minute match, please.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Uh, House of Black thinks that FTR should join them. Okay. And that's not going to happen, but House of Black is fun for thinking that. And we talked about it. It would
See,
be kind of cool if they did, and if all of a sudden House of Black was just like 20 people, right? Like you just bring in all sorts of people, and FTR, and maybe bring in Abaddon or whoever else you want to bring in that fits the mold, and have just a big old faction. That might be kind of fun, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. So, um, yeah. Let's see. Then we had Omega versus Ethan Page for the right to call themselves the best wrestler in Canada, I guess. Uh, Omega got the win. They had a great match. Oh, we lost Anika for a minute, I guess. So they had a great match. I enjoyed it. Um, both guys are both guys are solid wrestlers. I know I say that all the time, but it's true about a lot of these guys. You can't really go wrong with either Kenny Omega or Ethan Page. Ethan Page isn't quite on the level of a Kenny Omega, but he can hold his own, and Omega's the kind of wrestler that makes guys that he's in the ring with look better anyhow. And can make a match look really good, even if it's not with per se the greatest guy. But Ethan Page can carry his own in any match. So I enjoyed this. I thought the two Canadians had a good match in their own, country and area. So I enjoyed this a lot. I thought it was solid.
oh Canada. No, very, very happy Ethan Page is getting more screen time because we know how good he is. And it really is like, where did y'all go wrong, right? Because he could have easily been a great TNT champion at least, right? But and Kenny Omega, we're gonna talk about more about Kenny Omega during Dynamite because I think he needs a Joe Jackson butt whooping. That's just me personally, but always great to have these it seems like rare gems of a singles match. So thumbs up across the board.
Yeah. Yeah, and this was a solid match outside of the tournament, which has been the one that's been really the tournament's been delivering the good matches. So it's good to see a solid singles match outside of the tournament. So yeah, this is good. After the match though, Omega and Page shake hands, but Omega on his way back up gets the big boot from Big Bill.
Like,
And
just in
yeah,
case
I
y'all
mean,
forgot,
Richie, just in case y'all forgot, that's right. Let's see. Then we had Commander and Penta versus Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. Um, Penta and Commander got the win. Solid match. It's always fun to watch Penta. Penta's one of my favorites to see. I always enjoy watching him. 2.0 is always fun, but they're there to take the loss. Anytime I see that
unfortunately.
they're scheduled in the match, I'm pretty sure they're losing. I mean, I always look to see who they're wrestling, but it's always pretty sure that they're losing, unless it's somebody else I haven't heard of, unless it's the Outrunners or two guys I've heard of before. But usually, if it's someone that they're there to take the loss. But they're still fun and enjoyable. And Commander does his thing. It was fine. I mean,
Yeah.
a solid middle show match. Let's put it that way.
Right, right. Not exactly a bathroom break, but you want to get some chips real quick and come back, you can. Uh, of course, Penta should win, right? I don't, as of right now, I don't know what we're doing with him as well. Don't know why he wasn't in the G1, but you know what? We'll digress. I'm sorry, C1, C1. But like you said, very
C1.
fine
I knew
little
what you meant.
middle, yeah, very fine little middle card, middle of the show match.
Yeah. Let's see. Then we had a video package hyping up Shane Taylor and Keith Lee for Final Battle, which should be a fun match. That's one of the ones I'm really looking forward to on
Yes.
that show. Um, then we had the match that really fucking pissed me off, and I'll explain why it pissed me off.
Okay.
This match, we had Andrade El Idolo versus Brian Danielson in a Blue League match. And Danielson comes in with 6 points. Andrade comes in with 3 points. and they have what I thought was a hell of a match. Easily 4 stars, could be 4.5, not quite 5. We're not. It wasn't that good, but it was solid. I mean, it was really good. Great match.
Mhm.
What fucking pisses me off is that Andrade gets the win here, where Ricky Starks had to take 2 losses to Brian Danielson, but yet you let Andrade get the win here. Like, come on now. Like, give me a break.
It's
You've
a
been pushing Ricky way
tournament.
harder than you but you've been pushing Ricky way harder than you pushed Andrade ever. Ricky's almost homegrown talent. He's not really, but almost. And you've been pushing him like crazy, and you have him lose twice to Danielson, but Andrade gets the win in the tournament. I understand Danielson's wrestling a lot, and whatever it's caught up to him. It pissed me off. It pissed me off. The match was solid, but the ending really frustrated me. I feel really bad for Ricky. I mean, even though he's a tag team champion and him and Big Bill are getting some good time, I just feel bad. I
Y'all,
feel like he could have won one of those 2 matches for sure, especially if you're going to let Andrade beat him later.
um, I, I can't agree with you, right? Because it is Danielson, and like he has one eye, so one like Andrade beat him full force. He did make his eye bleed, so he had a little bit of help. Uh, more so in the confines of a tournament, it feels more digestible to me that Andrade won, right? Uh, um. I'm not mad at him winning, right? Um, like I said, I really would have loved to have seen who they had even asked to be the tournament, right? We know it was Miro, and Miro didn't want to take a loss, but to me, I wonder if they pitched Miro being in the place of where Andrade is right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, would he have
Right.
been either Andrade or Rouge? If you would have pitched him and you was gonna be Andrade, maybe he would have said yes. It's like, so it really depends on how you approach people. But
Yeah.
yeah, Andrade's killing it. I'm not mad that he won at all. And then we're gonna get Andrade versus Claudio next. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so is that what happened? Did they come to? Did they come to Miro and he said, "No, I'm not interested. I don't want to take the loss." Is
So
that what happened?
Miro specific. Okay, so don't know exactly what they said, but in a nutshell, they did come to Miro, and no. This is what happened. They didn't want to go to Miro because they didn't want to ask Miro to take a loss. Now I'm not sure how. Now I'm not sure if they didn't ask, like, cause like I really don't think Miro is the kind of person who's like, I don't want to lose at all, no more. Like, if you tell him, okay, you're gonna lose one, but you're gonna beat Danielson, I think he'll go for it. But you can't. Like, again, it's how it's all in the presentation. It's all in the presentation. So you say, so like I said, if you tell him you will have to lose one, but you're going to beat one of the greatest wrestlers in the world, he's like, all right, bet. So it's like, stop being punks. Honestly.
Listen, you might if okay. If let me see how to approach this argument. If you're Miro and you're watching your peer wrestlers around you, and you say to yourself, I don't want to be, and I'm going to use WWE guys because he was there too. I don't want to be the Miz. I don't want to be Baron Corbin. I don't want to
Mm,
be a guy that takes losses. I don't want to be. I want to be, the Roman Reigns. I want to be the Seth Rollins. I want to be. That's fine, and you might have that talent. But the problem is, if you don't make yourself accessible and willing to do whatever when they ask you, then they're not going to put you in that bigger spot as well. So the Miz has done a lot of shit spots, but he's also been world champion. He's been Grand Slam champion twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, these
yeah.
guys have had lucrative, long fucking careers because they've just said, sure, I'll do it. And I'm not saying that you have to say that all the time, but if Tony Khan already says, I already know Miro's not going to want to take a loss, so I'm not even going to talk to him about it, you already have a reputation then as being a guy that's not willing to take losses. And if you're not willing to take losses, then it's not a surprise that you're not on TV. I'm not saying you have to lose all the time, but you have to be willing to buy in to what's going on and take losses sometimes and not be the only guy that's like, well, I want it all my way all the time, right? And then mad about why you don't have any TV time, right? So I mean, I don't know what's going on, but if that's the case, then I mean, it's like what the fuck? I don't. That seems
But,
weird to me.
this is all speculation, but as for me in my house, I will stand with Miro till I know exactly what they pitched him. Cause okay, in my mind, right after he dropped the TNT title, and he was in the Redeemer full hard and full, like it was in the prime. I want to know what was that next step, because honestly, for me, after he dropped that title, he could have had a championship title shot. He could have been in that. He
Yeah,
could have been in that position, but they just
yeah,
it fell off, and so
yeah,
it goes both ways. So after you let the character fall off, and you have nothing for him, or your pitches suck, basically. But now you want him. But now you want him to trust you with another storyline. It's like, hold up, what is it? So it goes both ways. For us, it's all speculation. It could be
yeah,
whatever I said, it could be whatever AEW said. We probably will never know until after he retires and he goes on and do the interview, right? But yeah,
sure.
it's all presentation.
Uh, yeah, no, it is. It feels like you need to be, and I'm not saying he is in any way, shape, or form, but if you are the kind of guy that's considered difficult to work with, then you can't be surprised when people don't have stuff for you, right? Like
Yeah,
when creative comes to you, and I'm not saying again, I don't know, but if creative comes to you and says, uh, "Hey, um, we've got something for you," and you say no, and they say we've got something for you, and you say no, I don't really like that, and they say we've got something for you, you say no, I don't really like that, and they say we've got something for you, and you say no, I don't really like that. Then the 10th time, they're not going to come to you and say, hey, we got something for you. They're going to be like, this guy doesn't like anything, so fuck him. We're just going to move on to somebody else, right? I mean, I
like,
don't. And again, I
someone
don't know
has
that
to
that's what's
bend.
going on, but if that's what's going on, I mean,
Yeah, yeah. No, someone has to bend. Someone has to take a leap of faith. And if it doesn't work out, it's like, all right, screw it. 2024, I'll go back to WE, or I'll just not come back anymore, right? But
right,
someone has to bend. There has to be a leap of faith to see what would happen if you say yes.
yeah,
Either side.
yep. All right, so that was the end of Collision, and that brings us to Dynamite from last night, which was a solid, action-packed show. Four Continental Classic matches,
Yes.
and what I thought was a really good show. So it
Oh
started
yeah.
off with Samoa Joe in the ring, and that ended up in a squabble between Hangman Page and
Bang,
Roderick Strong
bang, bang,
over who's
bang.
behind the devil mask. Joe's great. He's always great.
Yeah.
He's a great talker. I love Joe.
Yeah.
Joe's kind of like for me, Joe's like this weird kind of mix between a Keith Lee and a John Moxley because he
Yeah.
has that like kind of articulate where he sounds like Keith Lee a little bit, but at
Right.
the same like Joe will kill you also like the total Moxley tone like so he's like
Right.
this weird mixture of the both of them. So I love Joe. Always been a big Joe fan, and I like him when he's funny too. When he's always funny, he's trying to whatever. So yeah, this works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh no, this whole segment was great, and it was crazy that they furthered the double story without MJF being there. And this was like, it's going to WE, right? If Roman's not there, the story barely floats at best, right? But
sure.
this did a great job at it, and so like everyone played their parts exactly right, and like Heyman came out of nowhere, right? Like I don't think anyone was like, let's add him into this storyline. Glad you
Yeah,
did, because now it's
yeah,
very, very much so interesting. Like I want to see Samoa Joe versus Heyman at some point, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
after this, we got Heyman versus Roddy, which was great,
Which
and
was
then.
really good. Yeah.
And like you said,
Yep.
Roddy's great. Like the comedy
Yeah.
was like, I'm talking to my best friend by proxy. And
Right.
like
Yeah. Roger. Yeah. Roger's
he
killing it at
makes
the moment. Yeah.
he makes me kind of want to be MJF just so he can say I told you so. And on the flip side of it, let let Adam Cole be part of it. He was like, "We know you knew, but you wouldn't just shut up. That's why you almost blew this for everybody." So it's like if they do it like that, I would kind of be okay with it, kind of, just a little bit.
So the question becomes. is it working? Is the devil stuff working? Um, does it depend on who it is and how they finish it for us to make a solid decision of it? Are you already bored of it? Who could
Definitely
it
not bored
be?
of it.
Who could it be? And what would make you be like, oh yeah, this is way awesome?
Way awesome is a stretch, right? Because as of right now, it is because the only people that could it could be like in my mind, awesome means someone I never thought was going to be the devil, right? And as of right now, they don't have that person on deck. So in my mind, it's either Adam Cole, MJF, or Jack Perry, and all of these make sense. And if there are any of these, it's a good storyline. It's not great, but it didn't suck. I'm not uninterested. Um, here was one thing that I what you call it? No one said this, and it'll be very interesting. Would like it to be Samoa Joe. It's something it's something he said to Hangman, right? He was like, so Hangman was like, just say it to my face like a man. You think I'm the devil. And then, like, don't, so why go around playing investigator? And so Samoa Joe was like, what makes you think I'm playing investigator? Maybe I'm the execution. Maybe I'm just playing executioner. And I was like, right there, I'm like,
Yeah,
because at the end, we'll talk about it more at the end of the show. So a verdict was raised. Now the only thing is they said the person in the devil mask it's the actual person. It is nowhere near as Joe's fit. So that was a nice little. I'm like I would have loved that. That would have been it. But like I said, it's definitely still interesting. I'm not bored of it right now.
yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah, I don't. I'm still enjoying it. I think it's going to depend on who the devil ends up being, and how they end up packaging it and wrapping it all up. I'm not sure that the person that we've seen in the mask is ultimately who they're going to reveal, which is why I think it could still be a Samoa Joe or a Wardlow, and that by looking at their body shape is not like, oh well, it's definitely not them because they've got somebody else doing it for now, and then when the actual
Well,
reveal comes out, you know what I'm saying?
so
It's going to be somebody else. So
but Sean Rice Sapp said, well, whoever told him, whoever's in the mask is the actual person. Now it
oh,
could be
okay,
they could be lying to him, but that's what they told Sean Rice Sapp. And like
oh,
if you want to keep that nice connection, I don't think you're supposed to be lying like that to him all the
right, sure,
time.
sure, sure. No, no, no. And if that's the case, then it's definitely not. It's not Wardlow. It's not Samoa Joe. Neither of them. It doesn't fit either of their bills. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's got to be somebody else. But yeah, no. I mean, like I said, it all just depends. The jury's still out. I still enjoy it. Um, I think they need to do more with it to keep it hot or not warm it back up, but it's not it's not okay, it's warm right now. They need to get it hot. How's that? Let's put it that way.
No. Okay. It's not a main event storyline. It's a good mid card line, but it's
Yeah.
not main event in the show with this match.
Which in theory it should be with the people that it's surrounding, right? Because
The world champion,
these
yeah.
are all main event guys, right? For the most part. I mean the Kingdom and Roderick Strong are definitely not, but MJF and Adam Cole are definitely, if Samoa Joe's involved, he's definitely a main eventer. So it's this weird kind of grouping of guys that um but yeah, so that led us to Roderick Strong and Hangman in a solid match that Hangman got the win in. I'm happy to see Roderick Strong out of the wheelchair and wrestling
Yes.
again. He's one of those guys that I really love watch wrestling. I'm a huge fan of all the undisputed era guys, right? All four of them are some of my favorites, and I'm happy to see. Or, I'm sorry, I apologize. That's not Roderick Strong. I apologize. Those are four.
Well,
I got him confused there for a minute. My bad. Um, but I like him. I compare him with those guys. He's for me. He's on that level of a Kyle O'Reilly, a Bobby Fish,
oh
an
yes.
Adam Cole. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. yeah. And Roderick Strong. I apologize. Yes, you're right. I apologize. So he's on that. Well, I'm having mental fade here. I apologize. So yes, he's one of those guys that I've always enjoyed. And I like seeing him wrestle. He's one of those really highly technical wrestlers, so he's fun to watch wrestle. I always think he's been underrated as a wrestler, and I don't know why he hasn't really like risen a little bit more to the top. I thought maybe it was that he lacked a little bit on the microphone, but this has been amazing stuff on the microphone. So clearly that's not the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe there isn't a problem. Maybe this is the push he's going to get. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was just that he was in WWE before. I don't know. But
But
yeah, I'm a huge Roderick
sometimes,
Strong fan. So this
yeah, sometimes you just need to take that left turn to making everything come together and work. And this is the left turn that makes Roderick Strong work. The full package,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yep. I was a little. I mean, I'm a little disappointed he took the loss to Hangman Page, but in theory, Hangman should be beating him, I guess, right? I mean,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
they're kind of on different levels. Hangman's a little up here, and Roderick's down here, at least for now, and so he
right.
should be beating him. If Roderick won, it was going to be an upset, right? So,
Definitely.
um,
But like, no, no,
but
no.
they had a solid match, though.
Definitely a solid match. And Heyman needed this because he lost to Swerve twice, right? And so,
Right?
like I said, didn't think we needed him in the storyline, but this is definitely helping him. Like, he never needs help, but he does need a little nudge in the right direction. Hey, man, right? This is definitely a nudge in the right direction for me.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Then we had our first Continental Classic match of four for the night. Andrade coming in with 9 points, defeated Brody King, which really
Ugh,
kind of surprised me. I don't. I'm not anti Andrade in any way, shape, or form. I like Andrade. I just with consecutive wins now over Brian Danielson and Brody King and having 9 points, it feels like a real big push for Andrade. I mean, which is fine, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know. I just to beat those guys back to back, I was a little surprised. I thought Brody King would get the win here, but at the same time, I'm surprised that I'm not surprised because Brody King's a big beast and he's whatever. But I figured he'd probably be at the lower end of the points by the time the tournament was done, just because of kind of his place on the roster and where what he does in general. But I the fact that Andrade beat Danielson and what you call it, and Brody King in back to back
Yeah.
nights or back to back shows is interesting to me. Matches is okay.
Very interesting, but the way like, he is a anyone who doubted Andrade in the ring, like come on now, you need to get your eyes checked. He is definitely a workhorse person in the ring, and I guess cause I love Brody King too. I really do, right? And so but for some, I do love this Andrade because he actually feels like he has a fire underneath his butt, right? He's actually motivated. And this is what happens when you give someone a little bit of the inch. He's like, just give me an inch, give me a storyline, and I'll prove it in the ropes. And he is, right? So definitely, this is interesting for me that he's on this streak. Don't really know who's gonna. Well, yeah, interesting to know who beats him and how, because I don't see him in the finals. Maybe semifinals, but not in the finals. So
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Even him coming out, I mean, don't get me wrong, Andrade's a really good wrestler. I think even him making it to the semifinals is a big deal for him. That's a huge push. I mean,
Yeah.
with the people that are in this tournament, that's a big push. I mean, it's a big deal.
We'll see.
Let's see. So then we had the Golden Jets. This makes me. I'm so tired of this because I love Omega and I hate Jericho. So this just drives me nuts. But they came to the ring. The crowd was happy to see them. They haven't been together for a while because of Big Bill and Ricky Starks. And they call them out to the ring. Big Bill and Ricky come down. They start trying to talk some shit and sow some distrust between the Jets. But Kenny says, I don't even actually like Jericho, so I don't care what you say. The upshot of this is that there'll be a challenge for the title at World's End.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this?
This 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 was rough. This was so rough. And I'm not gonna say the culprit was Jericho, but he didn't help. He didn't help. And it's one of those things. It really was like, why did okay? So let's dive into it, right? The reason so for people who don't know why Kenny Omega is not in the C1, there was an interview where they asked him, he was like, create. They had other creative plans for me, so I said no. So in my so in my mind, Jericho, not even Tony Khan, Jericho talked him into this foolishness, and this is dumb as hell. No offense, because if you take the timeline of 2023, we have had bare minimum of Kenny Omega. Now, some people are like, well, maybe he doesn't want to do it. Maybe he just wants to frolic and have fun. This is why you need a Joe Jackson in your life. This is why you need a Joe Jackson, because you're Kenny freaking Omega. And this is like, this pisses me off because you're making Don Callis a truth teller. You're the Don Callis a truth teller. You're not the Kenny Omega of old. This is stupid. This whole segment was dumb. And now, and you know what? It wasn't Big Bill's fault. It wasn't Ricky Stark's fault. It was Jericho's fault. I don't know. He don't know why y'all had Jericho talk Omega into this dumb behind freaking tag team. It's stupid. It's stupid and goofy. Lord have mercy, Big Bill and Ricky Starks try to make this better, but it wasn't. Don't know why the freaking Young Bucks let them beat them. This is dumb. Kenny Omega, snap back! I just met you in 2019. I just met you, and I know how great you are. And this is dumb. This is dumb. Okay? You're just main event Wrestle Kingdom with Osprey. With Osprey. Danielson just said that next year he's retiring. So you need to get off your lazy behind with this foolishness and give us what we need. All right? We need Omega Osprey 3, and we need Lord have mercy. We need freaking Kenny versus Danielson 2 that doesn't end the draw. You can't do this crap if you're with freaking Jericho. So snap out of it.
uh, so Jericho's calling Ricky Starks a better dressed, less charisma or less charismatic version of Enzo Amore didn't hit for you.
No,
That didn't pop you.
because it wasn't even his line. He fed off of Kenny Omega saying that's a little soft, and I'm like, oh, it's SWALT. And so I'm like, no, like I honestly, I see, if you scramble through all what I just said,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know why Jericho didn't fit in this segment. And when I say don't fit, the stuff that Jericho is saying, besides that line, wasn't hidden, right? And honestly, and truthfully, who really cares? Who cares about a Jericho and Omega are tag team champions? No
All right.
one.
No
No
one.
one asked for this. Like absolutely no
uh,
one asked for this.
Next, we got Riho versus Ruby Soho with Tony Storm on commentary with Mariah May. So Tony Storm and Mariah May join commentary. While they have this match. I thought it was a solid match. I, you know, I I feel I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. I feel really bad for Ruby Soho. She's gotten pretty much a raw deal in AEW.
Mhm.
Not that she was getting like the greatest push in WWE, but it seemed like they had more. At least it seems like she got more wins over there than she's gotten
Okay.
since being here. And now the stuff with Soraya and the way that she's treating Ruby is ridiculous. So like, yeah, I'm tired of all of that. The Tony Storm stuff, it's as on commentary was great. I mean, Tony Storm, we talk about this. She's in her bag at the moment, and everything she's doing is great. So,
Yeah.
happy to see her on commentary. And Riho gets the win. She's back, and she probably should, but I feel bad for Ruby.
Ruby and Riho understood the assignment. Riho was going to go for Tony Storm. She needed a win. They picked Ruby to be her opponent for her to do it. Right? Uh, it is. I hate this saying, but it is what it is. And hopefully they'll give Riho another win before. Cause it feels like there's a pattern here that I don't like. Oh, you're gonna get one person a win, and then they're gonna go against the TNT champion or the women's world heavyweight champion. It's like no, an actual program would be nice, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like I said, they knew what it was, and it was fine. I wish they would have had like maybe 5 more minutes, but it was fine.
yeah. yeah, it was fine. I mean, it wasn't great, it wasn't bad, but it was fine. Then we
Yeah.
had our second Continental Classic match of the night, which was Roosh versus
Roosh.
Jay Lethal. Again, I'm going to say this again. I say this about a lot of people. Jay Lethal deserves better than 0 points in this tournament. I'm not totally sure who he should have beaten, but the fact that Roosh has 9 and Jay has 0, like, I love Roosh. Don't get me wrong. Roosh is great, but I
Yeah.
love Jay Lethal too, and he deserves more than a donut. So I'm
Right.
assuming he won't have a donut by the time it's over, but at the same time, he's been eliminated mathematically. So all he can do now is play
And like
upset.
and honestly, I'll say this: I don't like it. I don't like cause like for me personally, what is he still wrestling for? Right?
Yeah.
I get I'll be upset. No, pay me. I'm not gonna win this no matter what. You ain't getting my best. I don't care about this. And then he's a heel, so definitely I don't care about entertaining these fans. I don't
Yeah.
care. Well, now I do like the story because after the match, Jay actually felt the defeat of, oh my gosh, like in my mind, this is what he's thinking. I suck. Why am I not winning? Maybe
Yeah.
against Moxley, maybe not against Moxley, maybe not against Jay White, but Roosh is fairly new. That's why I'm saying like Roosh, he's fairly new. I'm a veteran. I should be able to manipulate this, right?
Right.
I would have preferred if they did this storyline earlier, right? When it was desperation time, it's back against the wall, and 'cause, like next week it's going to be him versus Mark Briscoe, right? So I would have loved if they would have just moved this up a week earlier and like have some stakes, have some because like I said, him having 0 points, there's no
Yeah.
reason for him to have any motivation.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it's a classic. Oh, I don't ever want to lose, so there's some motivation there. I like to play upset, but at the same time, like you're right, and you know that by default in a tournament like this, some people aren't gonna. Obviously, not everyone's gonna advance. Certain
Definitely,
people are gonna lose. People are gonna lose matches, but a guy like Jay Lethal doesn't should get more than just 0.
yeah,
We'll see what ends up happening by the end, but he should have more than 0 at this point. And you're right, like, but not just in the context of this tournament, but like Jay Lethal is definitely on the backside of his career. And I
yeah.
guess if he's content and happy, then it's fine. And we talk about this a fair amount. Like if they're happy and it's fine, and I don't know, then more
Now,
power to them. But
if they're not,
they've never used him right since they brought him in. I mean, he's been, you know what I mean? He's been down
yeah,
in the cards since he's brought him in. They put him in this bad faction. He's never been able to be Jay Lethal that he was, Ring
the
of Honor legend in
yeah,
AEW, and I'm disappointed in that. I just don't.
like there were two chances they really could have put a light of it where and it was number one when Jericho was the Ring of Honor champion and he was looking for ex champions to beat. You
Yeah,
have a perfectly. I was very like you have a perfectly good Jay Lethal right there. Why didn't he go against him? Right.
yeah,
And the second one
yeah,
was them versus the Team Slapnuts for the Acclaim, and no, like it was they had the match where they cheated and they won, but Archer came back. It was like I would have been interested, and they let this right out for a week. That
yeah,
they're tag team champions just 1 week. Just
yeah.
1 week.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get that he's playing with his friends. He's friends with Jeff Jarrett. He's friends with Sanjay Dutt. He's having fun. And at the same time, you can't tell me he wouldn't much rather be around a title picture, around,
Yes.
a main event schedule, getting, pay-per-view matches and wins. I mean, I just don't believe that he wouldn't rather be doing that. So I don't know where the disconnection is because he's so good. I mean, there was a period of time where 10 years ago or it was debatable whether he was one of the best in the world. I mean, so I mean it's yeah, it's very disappointing to see what they've done with him so far. So
And like
I don't know, and who knows how much longer he's got. Like I said, he's not old, but he's not young either, right? He's
yeah.
been doing this for a while. So like I don't know.
And but like really potentially when they were doing the whole team slap nuts versus FTR and Mark Briscoe in there was a moment in time where they could have just I'm not gonna say win, but propelled whatever that was to the next level, and they just
Sure.
didn't.
Yeah, they just didn't. Let's see. Then we got our third. Continental Classic. This one was a gold match. Jay White
Yeah.
defeated Mark Briscoe. Again, here we go, right? So Briscoe's got zero. It feels like a disservice at the same time. We know some guys are going to take the losses.
Right.
I hate to think of Mark Briscoe as being a guy there to take the losses. So far, that's what they've shown him to be in this tournament, or at least that's how Tony Khan sees him to be. But this was a good match. I mean, um, I, Mark Briscoe held his own for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
I know that he's a tag team specialist and not necessarily like a big singles guy, but he's a singles guy now. So,
Right.
and I think he's really good. I mean, I think he deserves a little bit better. I don't know that anyone deserves a donut hole. I don't know how you work it out that everyone gets some points, and we'll see at the end if anyone actually still is left with zero because there are matches left to go still. But at this point, the fact that Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal have zero, that's tough. They're going to wrestle each other, right? Mark Lethal or Jay Lethal and
Next
Mark
week.
Briscoe. So
Hmm.
one of them is going to end up with points at minimum from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, both these guys deserve better. But at the same time, Jay White, the way you've been pushing him, who he is, his position on the roster, in the internet community, or not the internet, the wrestling community, he should probably
Hmm.
be beating Mark Briscoe, right? I mean, they're
Right.
when you talk about levels, he's a little bit above Mark Briscoe level wise, and so Jay White should
Yeah.
probably win here. So yeah.
Th- So Mark Briscoe not winning is more digestible because what have you just said? He is learning how to be a singles competitor. That's more digestible because the story is a learning curve for him. But like,
You don't have that issue with Jay Lethal. Like that doesn't explain Jay Lethal's issue.
right. Because hey, bro, you've been a single person for a minute. But like,
Right? Right.
I
Yeah.
sighed because I did not know about the Briscoe brothers, and I'm kind of sad because from what I've seen in Mark Briscoe, I think I would have been a huge fan because Mark Briscoe by himself is great, and like he will bring like he like he brings the energy every time, win, lose or draw, he's gonna be in it, right? And so this was a great and fun match, and
It
so
was.
and then after
Yeah,
this,
he's one of
then
those
yeah,
guys that's just fun to watch wrestle, right?
it's so fun.
Yeah.
Every move
His
is so much fun.
energy and just, his activity in the ring. Yeah, he's fun to watch.
Yeah,
Then we had the main event and our final
but real,
match that we're going to discuss for this episode of Aftermath of Dynamite.
but
It
real,
was John Moxley
but real quick.
versus.
So
Oh yeah, yeah.
they
Oh yeah,
announced that final battle Ring of Honor in we call it dedicated to Jay Briscoe. We're going to have
yes.
FTR and Mark Briscoe versus the BCC.
Versus the BCC. Danielson, Moxley, Claudio, I believe,
Yes,
right? No Wheeler Yuta yet.
yes. And
So
so for we I think everyone can agree that this Ring of Honor review needed a big match, and this is a big. This is gonna be so much fun. It's gonna
yeah,
be
and
so much
it's
fun.
and it feels even bigger since Wheeler Yuta's not involved. Like you get the three actual main guys in BCC
Really?
for once in a ring together. Like I don't have a problem with Wheeler Yuta, but like these are the main guys. Like let's bring in the big guys, the big
Yeah,
guns for this. You know what I'm saying? So no, that should be a lot of fun. Yeah, I forgot to mention that, but yeah, no, that should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. It makes the card that much more exciting. I think the card's going to be good in general. I think the show's going to be solid. But yeah, you're right. They did need a big kind of showstopper, spectacular or spectacle. And I think this is probably going to be it. So,
yeah,
yeah, I'm definitely excited for it.
yeah.
Yeah. So then our main event, which was the fourth Continental Classic match, a second Gold League match, John Moxley defeated Swerve Strickland, which I was surprised about. I do think that Moxley reminded me a little bit about why he's so good. Like this man, he looked really, really good in this match. I mean, he's this year has been kind of up and down a little bit in my opinion for him as opposed to last year where I thought he just
Yeah,
was golden all year. But this right here, this is the Moxley of 2022 that got him, the Horsey Award for Best Wrestler. I mean, I thought he was firing on all cylinders here. And I don't know if that's because he was in a match with Swerve, who's really, really good too. and they just have really good chemistry. Swerve raised the level a little. But yeah, I mean, this was fun. I don't know that I'm necessarily the biggest fan of Moxley being the first guy to 12 points. Um, but at the same time, man, he's really, really good, and he showed it last night. He showed it
Well,
for sure.
let's set the scene, right? Number one, if you have not seen the interview that Renee gave with Swerve Strickland, we found out that Moxley's favorite wrestler is Killshot, aka Swerve Strickland from Lucha Underground.
Yes,
So
yes.
no matter what, this is a dream match for him. So you can't tell me he wasn't. He's like, okay, I'm going against Killshot. I got to remember best out. I got to remember best. And then I love this crowd was great because even before they started, like I think everyone knew how good this match was going to be because, like I said, when they first started, you could just see Swerve just getting hype, and then the crowd talking AEW. I'm like, yeah, like it was a main event feel, and it deserved every minute of it, right? And again, great match. They're going tit for tat, and then great that Moxley played heel because mm, Swerve is turning. I'm not 100% on the boat of him being a babyface, but I'm 85% because sometimes you gotta ride the wave to look smooth as ride the wave. Now, for the people in the back who says no, Swerve should have won, let him be strong. Listen, here's my take on it. He doesn't lose anything from getting beat by Moxley because of how it finished, and I think they're setting up for the semifinals, right? And as of right now, MGF is hurt, right? And I bring him up because Swerve's on this trajectory where he's beating everybody, and he needs a final boss person to beat to officially become a main event in the main event picture, right? As of right in this tournament, I think that should be Moxley, right? Let Moxley win and let him be this big boss, final boss person. And so in the semifinals, what I do believe should be Strickland versus Moxley 2, that's when he beats him. It'll be much more important, and it'll be much like, hey, bring all your little feelings. And so when when it happens, and it
Yeah,
should happen, right? When Swerve beats Moxley to get into the finals, it'll be that much bigger of a moment. So I do believe it's for the greater good. Could this have been a draw? Maybe because no offense, you have the draw for point wise in the little rule book, right? So it's like, so when are you gonna do it? It feels
yeah,
like it's been like 4 matches where y'all could have done a draw and you haven't done it yet. And it feels, and
yeah,
we only have 2 more weeks to go when we get to
yep,
the finals, semifinals. And yeah, I don't think he can. I don't think you should do it in the semifinals. I mean, you could if you want to, but I don't think you should. So I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at a draw, but I'm not mad at the finish. So, but yeah, great match.
yeah. No, solid main event. Solid way to end a great episode of Dynamite. Not a great episode, a very
Ooh,
solid episode of Dynamite.
not the end yet, because after the match, we have some AEW trying to be NXT parking lots and shenanigans, where like we see the not retribution group beat up Hangman, and the Devil Mask Man comes out of the car. He gives a nod, and they put Hangman through a windshield, rear glass.
Yes. Yes.
Crimea
So it
Reaper.
appears they're targeting a whole bunch of different people. Hangman's one of them now.
Dun dun
Um,
dun. With
dun
real
dun
glass.
dun.
Could it
Who
be
is the
Jack Perry?
devil?
It makes sense
Let me
if it be
just say.
Jack
Let me
Perry.
just say. Let me just say. If it
Okay,
is
okay.
Jack Perry, that's the that's the least exciting of the people that have been floated around for me. Let me say,
I
it
get
makes
that.
the most sense.
It does. Yes.
It makes 100%. It makes the most sense. It's the least exciting for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
And
the
that's what
one
I'm
that moves
saying.
the needle the least for me. I mean, unless they've done something amazing with him while he's been gone. You know, taught him how to talk, whatever the case may be, giving him a little bit of personality. Um, you know, uh, I'm not. My expectations are low. Let's put it that way. If it's Jack Perry,
And that's why when you ask me who could be the dope person to be awesome, they don't have it. Awesome is a very big word, and they don't have
yes,
that person on deck. So like good is probably what we're going for. And like I said, all three dudes make sense. Either MJF, Adam Cole, or Jack Perry.
I agree. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Aftermath of Dynamite. Before we go, I will put up our schedule and give you guys our schedule real quick if I can
Mm-hmm.
find it. I know it's here. It's just my inability to find it. And there it is. So as you can see, we are here every day of the week. We have something for you on Mondays. We have Dolores and J News doing Seeing Stars. That's at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern every Monday morning, where they talk about New Japan, GCW, and all the other up and coming stars in the world of independence or whatever else, independent wrestling or whatever else they want to talk about. Then every Tuesday we are here live for the cookout, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Next week will be night 2 of the Horsey Awards, where we will be announcing the Horsey Award for Best
Mm-hmm.
Men's and Women's Singles Wrestlers, the two big awards of the year. So make sure and join us for that next Tuesday. On Wednesdays, we have All for Naught, which is myself and Sammy Joe reviewing Monday Night Raw and NXT. That's at 10:15 p.m. Eastern and 7:15 p.m. Pacific. Wow, I got tongue tied there for a minute. Then Thursday night, you're
It's
here
all
right
right.
now with us. Aftermath of Dynamite every Thursday. Myself and Anika live 7:15 p.m. Pacific, 10:15 Eastern, talking about the week in AEW. Then on Friday night, you get Friday Night Fights with Anika and Sammy Joe, where they watch SmackDown and Rampage and whatever else is on. Unfortunately, because Ring of Honor is starting at an odd time tomorrow, they're not going to be doing a watch along for the whole show, but they will talk about what they'll watch a little bit of it when they come on. And review some of the matches. So make sure to join us
Cool.
for that tomorrow night. Then Saturday morning, get up and join myself and CM as we talk about Impact, Ring of Honor, Being the Dark Order, and MLW from this last week. Then Saturday night, come back and join us live for our Collision watch along, 5 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. I'm sorry, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, where we watch. That's usually Dolores, Anika, and CM watching Collision. And then on Sundays, we have Enter the Square Circle, which is myself, ALW, and Slam and Sammy Joe playing WWE 2K for King of the Squared Circle. We're in the midst of our tag team tournament at the moment, so make sure to tune in for that. Hit that bell to be notified. The best way to make sure that you can see all the content we have is to hit that bell to be notified. We put out a notification before our shows come up all the time, so give you at least a half hour notice.
Yeah.
Hit the like button on this video, please. Check us
Please.
out everywhere. We're on
Yeah.
Twitter. We're on Facebook. Everywhere where you are, we're there. Like Dolores likes to say, if your parents are getting a tattoo, it's going to be a workhorse wrestling tattoo. Uh, Come for the wrestling, stay for the chaos. And until next time, unless you got anything else to say,
Real quick, please. Over here. Help the Wrestle Club get to WrestleMania. Buy
yes,
popcorn or just
yes,
donate straight up.
that's
WrestleMania
right,
is a
right here. I
great
think this is it.
experience.
Here's the overlay. Yes, yes, please help donate to the wrestling club. They're trying to get money raised together to take some kids to WrestleMania. It's a
Do it for the
very great
kids.
thing that they're trying to do. So please donate to that. Dolores put the link in the chat.
Yeah.
It is there. So I'll put it up here on the screen.
Like
You
all
can
they need
see.
is like they're already in New York. All they need is some freaking subway money and tickets. They're not trying to what's the face trying to go what you call it go go on a plane like
Right.
maybe a hotel. But we like right now all we need is tickets and subway fare. Do it for the kids.
Do it for the kids. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm glad that you mentioned that before we got off. because I forgot to mention it, and Dolores is always great about mentioning it. So,
Mhm.
yes, please make sure and do donate to that. So, anything else that I missed that you want to mention?
Have fun. Love
All right.
wrestling.
Peace. Till next time.